Yeah.
This is easily one of the biggest stories of the year. Largest creator in the world, $100 million deal with one of the largest companies in the world, Amazon. And they go on to create the largest game show ever. And now we somehow have lawsuits and then reports saying that this turned into a Fire Festival-like disaster. So my question, just like everyone else, is what is actually going on and how did we get here? Well, the timeline of events actually went by pretty fast, starting with March 18th, 2024, they announced the Beast Games. March 20th, reports surfaced that Mr. Beast secured $100 million for the Beast Games. Or well, at least for the deal. Sometime around June, they opened the application process, and then they were already filming in mid-July, specifically from 18th to 22nd of July in Las Vegas. And this is where most of the known problems were, because a little over a week later, you had a viral New York Times article titled, "Willing to Die for Mr. Beast and $5 million." Then only a week later, you had anonymous contestants sharing their experience with Rosanna and Christina. Then to back up the claims by New York Times and Rosanna, a lawsuit was filed against Mr. Beast and the production companies involved in Amazon Louisiana. So I posted an interview last Thursday night where I had the contestant run me through the experience of the Beast Games. What became clear to me and everyone else in the comments is that person was extremely biased to Mr. Beast. A few of you guys knew I knew that this interview. That would be counterproductive though, as at the end of the day, you want to know what happened there. You're not the narrative. And the narrative is determined by the available information we have, not someone's opinion. Hence why a lot of you guys were commenting that I was talking to a Mr. Beast plant, because the person I was interviewing definitely shared their opinion a lot, which came across as invalidating other people's experiences. And this is why I ended that video saying this. Obviously, me airing this interview is not to take away from the experience of the people who've gone wrong from this event. I just think it's important to get as many perspectives as possible out there. But to address the Mr. Beast plan allegations, I can never know 100%, but from what I can tell, I don't think this was the case. This person was a contestant who enjoyed their time and is grateful for the opportunity. But again, that doesn't take away from the ones who had a bad experience, because we learned a lot from our interview. Mainly, the setup of the event was terrible. They had way too many people for the challenges they decided to do and the facilities they had. Because, yes, while there's a $5 million prize, there's no benefit in having the contestants feel like absolute trash and trying to compete for it. There's like so many simple things that could have been done way better, and I get they're trying to go for whatever sounds best in the intro cut. 2,000 people fighting for $5 million sounds a whole lot better than 500 people fighting for $5 million. But by simply reducing the amount of people competing, we can make everything so much better for everyone. But we'll get more into that later on. So let's go over the main New York Times and lawsuit allegations and then see if we're able to cross-reference from the internet. So from the New York Times article, the main issues were food scarcity, medical neglect, poor hygiene, and chaotic organization. I would say that all of those issues would definitely reference in the internet. So not only do you have the people who talked to Rosanna corroborating that, but also the person who talked to me. And with their statements on Rosanna, they definitely didn't talk to Rosanna. So people who had really bad experiences at the event, they corroborated it. And people who had a really good experience at the event also corroborated that. So look at that. Accidental journalist moment. Am I a journalist? Who knows? I definitely lark as one sometimes, but at the end of the day, I'm a commentary channel and internet talk show host that talks about laughter, stupid stuff on the internet. Largest creator ever doing a $5 million game show and people are calling it a fire festival-like disaster. That is laughably stupid. Hence why we're covering it here on this channel. But going back to cross-referencing off of my interview, in regards to the chaotic organization, you have the whole intake process that just seemed like a complete disaster. Here's a clip of how chaotic this process was. From the New York Times article, they were saying there was like an intake process, and then like the first day. Is that true, or?
Yeah, there was, so we got there one day, and some people got there like 2 or 3 days in advance, just for planning purposes. But you stuck in a number of hotels. They split all 2,000 people between, say, like 3 or 4 hotels. But the intake process happened at Rio Hotel in like the big grand rooms. So eventually, throughout your 3 or 4 days, probably on the day that you got there, mine wasn't until like the second or third day. But they took you into the room, you signed all the paperwork, new NDAs, all sorts of stuff. And then you basically got like your jersey, and then you went back to your hotel room and then waited until they called you down like the morning of to come down in your jersey. And poor planning on their part, we could have just worn like our normal civilian clothing, but they put us all in trash bags. I guess like that was a last minute decision, which didn't help because then people like, why are there 1,000 people in a hotel in trash bags? That like raised some controversy right there. The trash bags were hot, you know, you could just rip bigger armholes or like suck it up, but yeah, that wasn't like a good decision on anyone's part. I don't know who that was, but it probably wasn't Mr. Beast directly.
And then, so you were put in trash bags, and then what happened once you were put into trash bags?
Once we were put into trash bags, well, they fed us breakfast. You had the opportunity to go get your own breakfast before the trash situation. Then it was like 3 or 4 hours of waiting until we got to the Rio Hotel. And they put us in the big grand rooms with, say, like 500 people in each room. And it was for actually bring out food, they offered water, you could go to the bathroom. And yeah. So like we stood in those halls for another like 6 hours until we finally were bused to Allegiant Stadium.
Alright guys, you can't have your phones, but put on these trash bags and wait around for like 6 hours. Have fun. I get that obtaining NDA and liability signatures for 2,000 people, that takes time, but there has to be a more efficient way of doing this. Like, I just can't picture someone in a boardroom saying, hey, what if we put all the contestants in trash bags and have them wait around for 6 hours, and then we'll bust into the stadium? They'll love that. That just doesn't seem like something well planned. It seems like something that was just poorly improvised. And I know they blame CrowdStrike for a lot of the chaos, but I also think that was for getting people home. As my understanding is, everyone waiting around the hotels in the trash bags, that was on the 18th of July. And the CrowdStrike incident happened on the 19th of July. So I don't know what was going on with this intake process. But moving on, you had the lack of medical supplies. And this portion of my interview definitely surprised me that they handled it like this. What did the lack of like medical supplies and stuff like that come up?
So when you went into the Rio, you kind of like handed off your medical supplies for the Beast Games, and they were going to handle the logistics of it.
That just doesn't make sense to us. I guess it depends on how important that medication is, but if it's like an inhaler or insulin, that should be pocketed or had in a small bag that's in the gun. I don't know, if there's a chance that I can die for not having an inhaler or something important like that, you wouldn't be able to separate me from that thing. And the organizers really shouldn't be putting a contestant in that situation where they get separated from it, because it's just too risky for everyone involved. So I have no idea why they were...